So they'll be calling you a radical. This is a real important video. I'll put the camera down. I got to just sit it on the concrete. One-man band. So this is NCAA college athletic, especially football. Well, basketball too, but not like football. Corruption for kids. Now, I'll flip the soup can. Who's this? The 1984 Philadelphia Stars, the greatest football team in history you never heard of. Well, these guys. So I'm going to tie this in, nuclear versus nuclear. So they're saying that the pearl industry has collapsed. And they say, not mystified, not puzzled, not baffled, not stumped, not perplexed, not alarmed. They're saying unclear. Well, they just need to add one letter. Nuclear. Unclear, just add it in and you got it. So, and then we'll talk about the NCAA, and this is historic, and I'm sending this to Outside the Lines, which I've been talking outside the lines. I've been talking to a lot of investigators, and it's amazing how nobody's doing this. This is the greatest turnaround of a sports program maybe in U.S. history. The most corrupt football program in the United States, the NCAA. So, first off, KWCR is no more. Manny, well, they're here, but those pieces of shit, they begged me and begged me and begged me and begged me. Manny, who ran it for 6 years, finally, I told him, Manny, don't get involved with them. They're just going to use you. This campus is the most corrupt campus in the United States. They're just going to use you up. It's corrupt. No, I won't do it. He begged me and begged. Finally, he talked me into trying to help him. I did play-by-play, you know, blah, blah, blah. Finally, he threw his hands up and says, they're so corrupt, I can't believe whatever. And he bolted and left, so they're done. So I'll just, you know, I've tried. So, first off, Fukushima Prefecture has invested $2.7 billion in renewables. They're so done with nuclear. Not here in the United States. I mean, you know, for you kiddies who you don't know, we'll do this for kids because parents can't police their own. They have to do it. And these parents are like, these kids watch this YouTube. Well, what about parents? The grown-up kiddies who watch Fox News 12 hours a day and regurgitate that freaking filth. That's worse than anything a kid's watching. But, you know, Google's, you got to put it, is it for kiddies or is it not for kiddies? By the way, this is for kiddies, and I'll do another one at the house with my Fred Rogers stuff. Now, Fred Rogers died of cancer. Now, kiddies, he lived where? Right next to 3 Mile Island? Oh, yeah. He died of what? In his stomach? The Hershey cows? Oh, yeah. So, died of stomach cancer. So, let's flip the can and let's talk. I'll be sending this outside. And let's talk about the corruption. And first, before I set this down and get this right, I cannot say enough about Jay Hill and his coaches and these players. What he has done actually blows my mind. This is the most corrupt. It's so corrupt, it's unbelievable. And I'll tie this into the radio station. The radio station, they sold off our signal illegally. So this football program, Jody Sears, Graybill, these guys were so corrupted. As you know, I dedicated the season to young Smith, who died in a jail cell, all-time leading rusher. You know, that'll get passed by Josh Davis here soon. But he had a stroke and a heart attack. This program was so incredible. And all tags, start Googling Weber State sports program. Now, when you think if they're corrupt, they'd win. The losingest program. I will quote Jay Hill right there as they were christening the new area with all the oligarchs. I will quote Jay. I have it on video. He says, I want people to know one thing. This program won 2 home games in 2 or 3 years before I got here. When you think they'd win for being corrupt? Sex for grades, money under the table, no local, beyond money missing. I will quote Dr. Hanley. I used to work with Dr. Hanley, Bruce Hanley. He was a dean, #1 school business in the country when he and I were at Weber State, and you don't even know corrupt. This is the most corrupt campus in the country, bar none, and I'm not exaggerating. It's that corrupt. And I tried to tell Manny that. They're going to use you. So they tried to move the radio signal. They wanted to move the radio signal. They had to, the FCC's got to, they wanted to move it right there, the football. In 2014, the corrupt would not let them. So, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Money misses. So, I was standing next to Dr. Hanley when in the famous interview with Sports Illustrated. I was standing next to him. He says, kill the program. We were doing the deal. Bleeding $1.5 million a year. And then hundreds and millions of dollars started just missing. You know, and that was back in the 90s, and it got much, much, much worse. Got much worse. You know, I think they won 3 games in 6-year period. Money missing. Sex for grades. People taking tests. You name it. It was good. The NCAA gave him the death sentence. So I was standing next to Bruce when he gave the thing. Now, Bruce is one of the greatest football players that ever played up here. Now, so you know, I spoke at his wake. He donated his brain to the NCAA that studies brain injuries at the end. He tried to kill this program. He says it's corrupt. So he was asked by Sports Illustrated, what's the chance of cleaning up this corruption and the breaking even? You're just bleeding money missing all over. They're gonna take 1,400 people to be in these seats again, or 14,000 to break it. And I was standing right next to him when he said it. They cropped his answers, but he said more than that. He says, a snowbat's chance in hell. This is important because this Jody Sears, Graybill, these guys were so incredibly corrupt, and this program was so losing. I mean, it's incredible. This is the greatest turnaround in sports history. This is a national powerhouse overnight. I remember when he rolled into town, Jay Hill, and I'm like, I was skeptical. They wanted Montana. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. He recruits local players. I know lots of these players. I love this guy. This offensive line coach, the old man, Coach Merrill, I love that dude. He is the shit. And you know, Randy Ray over there, the basketball, he knows this too. You know, he knows my story, blackball. I got cancer, you know. So the first student that sued the NCAA on the NCAA contract and won played here. Devon Pugh. You remember the Michigan kicker who threw the kick and threw the ball backward? Oh, he punted here. But Devon Pugh sued him first. He played here. You should have heard him rant. This corruption was over the top. I mean, this NCAA contracts and these NCAA, I mean, it's so, what the abuse of, we just had this conversation with the basketball team, you know, over there, some of the players and Randy. They all know. It's a one-sided equation. You think about this business model all over the country. The NCAA group of attorneys, they give nothing back. So the coaches are the highest paid state employees in the entire state. The state taxpayer pays for it. They fund it all. They fund everything. The NCAA rolls in. These players get absolutely nothing. They get no money. Fuck, we want health insurance. So Tyron Smith dies in a jail cell. He had a heart attack and stroke at 26 years old. Where the fuck were they then? Oh, they hate me around here. I don't really give a fuck. The coaches don't. So Jay Hill rolls into town. This is the great, I can't believe there isn't sports journalism all over this. I'll do your work for you. Kevin Blanch, sports journalist. This is the greatest turnaround in sports history. Not just wins, losses. This is a national fucking powerhouse. They're going to win the Big Sky if they beat Montana Saturday 3 years in a row. They would have won the national championship in 2017 if it wasn't for that bad call pushing the back. Overnight, from a team that won 2 fucking games in like 5 years. I mean, they would get beat by 30. This is the losingest program in the United States over a whole year period. The most corrupt program in the United States, bar none. Not my words, the NCAA's words. He rolls into town and turns this around. This is a national powerhouse. I love this guy. I can't tell you how much I love this guy because what he's done. This is your tennis player screaming and ranting and raving. Who's this? You know, what was his name? What is that? John McEnroe's daughter over there screaming? You know? God. They got a good tennis team, by the way, too. But, so, this is a giant story. So, let's see if I can do this with the camera here. Oh, yeah. I'm a one-man band. So, KWCR don't like us. Manny quit. So we have no IT. He quit. You know, and I quit. I told them, I'm like, so why the can here? The stadium was dead. Dr. Marquardt donated all the money. He wanted the field to be purple, like that ugly red fucker up at Eastern Washington. He is right there. He made all his money in the nuclear industry. He's dead. Weber State is the nuclear industry. Florida Construction is Weber State. Utah Construction is, they built the reactors of Fukushima, Japan. As you know, I call it the Diablo Canyon Bowl. I call it the San Onofre Bowl. So they play San Diego Thursday night basketball. I'll be over there. Play-by-play thing's over. I don't know. Maybe I'll try to do some stuff with the athletic department, blah, blah, blah. But where's the investigative journalist, period? Fukushima killing our oceans. I mean, the Stewart family is the D family. She's the heir to the D family. They didn't make their money crooked. That's the can. That's how they made their money. American can. American can. That's why I awarded the tomato soup can, which I awarded tomato soup can this week to Jay Constantine, which I got on video, the greatest play in the history of this field. The greatest game in the history of this field was, which I videoed, and at least I got them up. At least I got the greatest plays up. That's the greatest play in the history of this program. Jay Constantine going up the freaking hill. I love all these kids because a lot of them are local. Josh Davis, I know, he's a local kid. He's a white boy is going to play tailback in the NFL from Utah. Think about that one. I mean, so the most corrupt program in the history of college football, bar none, the losingest program. This guy, Jay Hill, and his coaching staff rolls in here and turns this is a national fucking powerhouse. There's 27,000 students on this fucking campus. When are they going to start acting like it? You know, so with your left, you know, I just had a conversation with the basketball team. I'm getting better with that left, coach. I'm getting a lot better with that left. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play today. Put me in, coach. So Tadpool's dead, so I'll probably go back to California. But walking, I walk 5 miles each day. So I'll send this outside the lines. I'm going to do a piece. I'm going to write a book about it, I think. Yeah, I'm going to write a lot of books. Publish this is a book. This turnaround, I cannot say how much I love Jay Hill, his coaching staff, not because of wins and losses. I give a fuck. I care. He has changed his coach. These are local players. This guy's the shit. And same with Randy. He cares about his players. There's 13 players playing off Weber State in Europe. And this is a reflection of Randy. I want to say this because they had the biggest loss in the history of the school. I think Damian Lillard's a reflection. Damian Lillard was on this campus when Fukushima happened. He's from Oakland. I know Damian good. He and I were both here on this campus together. This university did zero for Damian Lillard. I have the last Damian Lillard jersey ever. The bookstore gave it to me. They're going to quit freaking doing them. I says, Damian, they did nothing for you. KSL, Standard Examiner. No, go ahead. You're fine. So, all of them, they did nothing for him. Look at him take the high road. He talks so highly. I loved his interview with the Standard Examiner. He says, well, it wasn't just like I was playing basketball. I was walking around here. Me and him were friends, by the way. When first time I saw him play, I says, there's an NBA player here. There's a kid that's going to play in the NBA here. I remember I was being in Wendover, and I told my friends, Bet Weber, this kid's going to play in the NBA. It's first season. That was when he broke his foot. It was Jimmer. No media even touched him. They treated him like shit. After he got drafted and became the NBA Rookie of the Year, they had buses with his jersey. 169 at the bookstore. By the way, the first manager of this bookstore was Jay Marriott himself, Marriott Hotels. You know, and so the bookstore gave me that jersey, Damian's last one. They're not going to have it made in China because I wear American-made shit, you know? American. Can. Don't drop it, Kev. So there's probably, and I'm not kidding, there's 8 or 10 players on this field right now that will play in the NFL, and I'm not kidding. There's All-Americans all over. Culturally, it's just like Damian. He takes the high road. He comes back here. He and I are friends. He says, I wear the O. I used to wear the 1. I don't wear the 1. I wear the O for Ogden, for Oakland, for Oregon. You should see what he does. You know, I'm hoping he can give back. I told him, why don't you help fund some of my activism? I'm working on that, Kev. Okay. So, but I'm going to keep working on this, and this story's got to be told. I talked to one of the great big linemen. I says, because I'm friends with the O-line coach, the old man. He says, that guy's the shit. He says, that's the best coach I've ever known. So, I says, he cares about you guys, huh? And you're like, yeah, we're all local guys. We grew up in Utah. Yeah, like me. This is the greatest turnaround of the most corrupt, losingest program in history by this guy. Win, lose, or draw forward. It's astounding what he's doing. It's staggering. And why the corruption was going on. Why the fuck didn't somebody uncover it? I mean, you start Googling, you'll just find more. They got the death sentence. These are not my words, NCAA. Where was the investigator? Where's ESPN? Where's Outside the Lines? You know, Jeremy, I've said this here, I've sent stuff to you for a long time. Why it was corrupt. The one young player. Because I've dedicated the season to Dr. Hanley, donated his brain, played here in the 60s. I've been here in this in the stadium since it was built, you know, since, well, almost, since I was a little boy. Lee White played here. You know who he is? Jets. He's got a Super Bowl ring. 69 them Jets. Scott Shields. I don't see their names up there, I think, because people don't even know who they are. Scott Shields is the greatest player ever played here on this football field. You know, basketball. Yeah, we got Willie Soldier. He's a legend. You know, he named Dr. J. Dr. J. Of course, Justice Big Pen, the great Ruben Nemhard. But they ain't Damian Lillard. Damian takes the high road, and that's a reflection of Randy. And so, you know, but the corrupt radio station, this, I cannot overstate, this is the most corrupt. The school business I taught at, don't go see it. #1 in the fucking country when I taught there. #1. Ha! Clyde Cooley got mad cow. Kyle Matthews, I mean, what they did to me, they fucked me so hard. They could have paid for my medical bill, and they did 1.8 months. They threw me to the wolves to die. Golf coach died of leukemia the same time I died. They didn't care. I mean, so it's the most corrupt university in the bar none, and I'm not kidding. I tried telling Manny that. You know, they begged me. I knew better. So I says, look, my platform's 1,000 times your platform. Who's promoting who? Ooh. So this is the greatest turnaround culturally, maybe in sports fucking history. And I'm not kidding. I'm glad I'm a part of it, just even if I'm looking from the outside, but I'm friends with lots of these guys, and I cannot say enough about Jay Hill. My God, I can't believe what he's done. Of course, he makes $250,000 a year, which is low paid compared to his peers, but me, I have no peers. What do I make? I make 0.0. You know, I'm tied to this hospital, tied to this university, because I have leukemia. You know, I had my chest split open. I was given 2 months to live. Fukushima. Nothing else matters. And, you know, there is no investigative journalists in this country anymore. There are none. The great historic city of Ogden, Utah. Sad what we've let happen. But this just shows you, it's an incredible story. Absolutely incredible fucking story. I'll write a book about it one day. And like I just told Randy Rad, I says, I know more about this football program and this basketball program than anybody in this, by far. I could tell stories about basketball. I've been sitting in these stadiums since the early 60s. I've been sitting in the same seat at the D since it was built in 75. By the way, the nuclear industry built the D. I'll do a video over there. Go Weber, you know, win or lose up Montana. You know, they lost that heartbreaker, which I call the Wattis curse, but what Jay Hill has done, and these young players, Josh Davis, you know, young Cooley, they're young, this offensive line, I mean Maxwell, all these guys, I mean, my God, Jay Constantine, all of them, they should be very proud of themselves, but, I mean, it starts at the top. He knows the corruption here, Jay Hill. I cannot say, and he knows, this is, I mean, it's still corrupt. The athletic department's still corrupt. There's still corruption all over. The university's still corrupt as fucking hell. The last president, he gave this Gibson character the presidential award, who never went to school, in a party up at his house. And it was all corrupt. I mean, corruption after corruption after corruption here. Money stole after stole. I mean, where the point people should have went to jail. You know, most corrupt. I mean, what a fucking story. And I want to make sure I get this up. I mean, it's unbelievable. Like I said, I am fucking dumbfounded. That's who they are. That's why I'm going to start calling them Philadelphia Stars. You know, that was Jim Mora's team, and Kelvin Bryant and the quarterback from Penn State, and that incredible defense. That's the greatest football. Remember those two? Remember Herschel? Oh no, it was Kelvin Bryant. It's the greatest football team that you never heard of. Oh yeah, they beat the shit out of them, Washington. Those New Jersey Generals and Trump's money. So, stay tuned. And by the way, I want to quote the old man to me. I love that fucking guy. I was standing with a bunch of the offensive players who were from here, really great guys. I says, that offensive line is something else. He says, I'll tell you what, Kevin. This was a couple games ago. This other team's going to want to run and get on the bus by about the mid-third quarter. The way I'm going to get them. These running backs, they have Jackson and Smith, but and by the way, I know Josh Davis. He is a freaking gem of a human being. All these young guys are incredible, you know, bunch of Utah boys, young men, you know, and so it's a diamond in the rough, but the place is still corrupt. No one seems to give a fuck. Just like Fukushima. No one cares. Stay tuned.